Hello, Top Fan Rivalry followers, and happy, well, whenever you're watching this, but happy fifth episode to Bleeding Blue, hosted by Mikey, also known as Mikey Bleeds Blue, and your friend Bill of Top Fan Rivalry. Mikey, how are you?
Doing great, Bill. Yep, just excited to be here
Living the dream,
per
huh, my friend,
usual.
aren't you?
Yeah,
So
getting closer
here,
to spring training, pitchers and catchers.
yep, yep. And here's the deal, Mikey. We're going to cover 2000 to 2010 today. Next week, we'll cover leading up to spring training. And then, boom, pitchers and catchers report. We'll have plenty of stuff to talk about. We'll talk about Cody and Blake not having contracts yet. I mean, come on. So,
And we'll even do some special stuff from spring training.
ooh, that's right. That's right. Um, we will also pass around a hat. Maybe we'll have it up on Top Fan Rivalry. It'll be a GoFundMe for Danny's bail money after he gets himself arrested. When Mikey and I tell him not to do certain things, and he does them anyways. Right? I mean, how many times did that happen last season? Yep. Danny, you can't
You
go down
can't
there.
go
No,
into the Dodgers locker room, Danny. Oh, I can.
Danny, you can't go down there, man. Danny, no, 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 no. It's okay. I'm just taking a picture. Just take a picture of me walking up the steps. No, 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 no,
No,
no. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, Mikey, can you break down the standings for 2000 through 2010 for us and managers?
yeah, yeah. There was some good seasons in here, some mediocre seasons, and just a couple losing seasons. But for the most part, the Dodgers, the 2000 through 2010 uh decade was, it was solid. In 2000, the Dodgers went 86 and 76, and that was the end of the regime for Davey Johnson.
Mhm.
And they finished second that year at 86 and 76. In 2001, we started the Tracy regime, and he was there for 5 seasons. In 2001, the Dodgers again went 86 and 76 and took third. In 2002, they went 92 and 70, which is a very nice record, and they took third. 2003, they went 85 and 77 and finished second. And in 2004, they went 93 and 69. Jim Tracy's obviously his best year. They won the division, but lost to the Cardinals in the division series three. They lost 3-1.
Mhm.
One lost 3-1. We won one. We went 1-3. Basically, is what I'm trying to say there.
Yep.
Uh, uh, after our wait, no, I'm sorry, 2005. After Jim Tracy's very good, 2004, they went 71 and 91 and finished fourth, and he was fired.
You gotta leave, but
And
you can't leave, but you gotta get out of here.
yeah, and then so the 2006 era started, the Grady Little era, which he came from the Red Sox. I wasn't Jim Tracy. I was okay with. Um, but starting with the Davey Johnson thing, and the Dodgers with the Davey Johnson thing started going out more of their, they usually kind of stayed within or had someone with ties to. They started doing this other stuff, and I just didn't like it. Grady Little, his first year with the Dodgers was 2006. They went second place. They got swept in the division series by the Mets. We went 0-3. 2007, pretty mediocre, 82 and 80, fourth place. 2008, we went 84 and 78 and took first. So that wasn't a banner year for the whole West, really. And we lost to the Phillies we went 1-4 and lost in the National League Championship Series. So they went pretty deep. 2009, we went 95-67 and finished first, but got bounced again in the NLCS again by the Phillies, right? We went 1-4.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right on
Correct.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah, yeah, that was the year I think the Phillies. I
Was
think the
that a
Phillies
Joe
won
Torre?
in. Was that?
Was that a was that Joe Torre's first year with the Dodgers, or did he come in 2010? Because it says 2010. Joe Torre and Don Mattingly both had a spell at manager. When was Grady Little fired? Do you know?
I want to say '07.
Okay,
Want to say
so he
'07.
lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, then so that 2008 would have been the 2008 and 9 would have been Joe Torre, and both years we lost, one series before the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
2010, the Dodgers were 80-82. And I think Joe Torre didn't finish out the year, and Don Mattingly was hired, and they finished fourth.
Yeah.
So we kind of went out with a whimper to end the 2010s,
2010s. Yeah. Well, and see, and
and
next week,
2010 decade.
yeah, next week we'll get you through kind of present. But Mikey, tell me about so we were 862 and 758, which was much better than what we were in the 90s. We had
Mm-hmm.
three first place finishes, one wild card finish. So 4 out of the 10 seasons we made the playoffs, which that kind of starts the ball rolling of where we're at now.
And
Um,
twice, yeah, the last two in the latter part of that decade were both in the NLCS, which is one step away from the World Series. So
so tell me about a couple of players that I'm going to read you the starting lineup for the '04 team and for the '08 team, both that came in first place. And then talk to me about some of these players. So starting lineup, opening day, Dave Roberts, left field, never heard of him. Cesar Asturis, shortstop. Milton Bradley, left field, or center field, I'm sorry. Sean Green, first base. Paul Duca, catcher. Um, Juan Encarnacion, right field. Adrian Beltre, third base. Alex Cora, never heard of him either. Alex Cora at second base, and Hideo Nomo starting. And then in 2008, Rafael Furcal, shortstop. Andre Ethier, left field. Matt Kemp, right field. Jeff Kent, second base. Andrew Jones, center field. Russell Martin, shortstop. I'm sorry, Russell Martin, catcher. James Loney, first base. Blake DeWitt, you remember that name?
I do. He was
Third
he
base.
was a scrappy little lefty. I liked Blake DeWitt.
Yes, and then you have pitching Brad. I swear I'm not going to take Alyssa Milano from you, Penny. Um, leading, there. So tell me about some of those guys. I mean, don't forget we had
If I
Alex
was to
Cora.
say those two teams head to head, I would have to pick the latter team.
Yeah.
Um, I think that was the better club on there, and some names from back then that foreshadowed a lot that was going to happen later in Dodger lore. So Dave Roberts is now the manager of the Dodgers. Alex Cora is a big filthy cheater. So yeah, there quite a bit has happened from some of those names.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Milton
I,
Bradley, yikes.
I,
Andrew Jones, yikes.
yes. Yeah. It, Andrew Jones, and then you've got guys that you forgot that played for the Dodgers, like Ed or Juan Encarnacion,
Yeah.
Milton Bradley, Cesar Asturis. Man, I liked Cesar Asturis. I
He,
forgot
he
about him.
he had a really good glove. He was a very good defensive shortstop.
He's also one of those guys though that like and for those of you rookie Dodger fans, for those of you that have only been Dodger fans for the last 7 or 8 years because they're winning, good for you. but we had a history of players playing for us and then going other places and becoming all-stars.
Yeah.
Mikey,
Who
tell
who
me
were
I'm
our
wrong.
who were our catchers in those two runs?
Um,
Russell Martin and who?
Russell Martin and Paul LaDuca. Backup
Okay.
catcher was David Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you my famous stat on him, who his first career homer was off, right?
Remind me again.
It was Mark Grace.
Oh, that's right. Yes, 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 yes.
It was
Um,
one of those games where the Dodgers were up like 15-2 on the Diamondbacks, and they brought Gracie in, and yeah, Dave Ross happened to hit his first his first major league home run against Mark Grace.
yep, yep. And I gotta tell you, I some of those players I kind of miss them, and I missed that. I forgot. So Eric Gagne had 47 saves in '04. Adrian Beltre. This is the reason why we lost Adrian
Yeah,
Beltre. Everybody, 48 home runs, 121 RBIs, 200 hits. Um,
yeah.
do you know who had the second most, actually tied for the most wins, but had a better record as our starting pitcher in '04?
Uh, Kevin Brown.
No, Jose Lima.
Lima
They're
time.
13, 13 and 5 to Jeff Weaver's 13 and 13.
Yeah, Lima time.
Yeah. And '08, that was Chad Billingsley at 16 and 10 with 201 strikeouts.
Yeah,
Man, those are
yeah.
names
We
that we haven't
we
talked
we've
about in a
both
while,
done our
Mikey.
due diligence and wrote down some stuff. I mean, the names of some of these players that played in that decade.
Hmm.
We have some standards, obviously, that we all know as Dodgers, and then you have some where you're like, oh my god, I forgot he. So I don't know if we'll talk about that in a little bit or for another time, but yeah, they had some characters on their club in the 2010 decade. Some that just recently got put in the Hall of Fame that were, we were known even in that decade too as getting guys that probably were a little past their prime.
A little past their prime?
Well, I was being nice. Yes, Jim Thome did absolutely nothing. Prime Dog had, he was fine. But Ricky Henderson, not much. Uh, geez, Andrew Jones was a complete bust, and he wasn't even too old yet. He just deteriorated. I don't know what really happened to him, but he just he took our money and ran.
Yes, he did. He did. And
So, do we have a couple minutes here? I'll just rattle off the names I thought were pretty interesting throughout the 2000 that decade.
yeah, do it. Let's do it.
So, obviously, we're going to start with someone who's still, well, he's a free agent now, but we figure if he's healthy, he'll get signed in the second half. But Clayton Kershaw, you got Kevin Brown, Chan-Ho Park, Eric Gagne, Darren Dreifert, Sean
Devin
Green,
Dreifer.
Paul LaDuca, Eric Karros, Adrian Beltre, Gary Sheffield, Fred McGriff, Ricky Henderson, Jeff Kent, AJ Ellis, Andrew Jones, Manny Ramirez, Hideo Nomo. Remember Big Jonathan Broxton?
Hmm.
Derek Lowe, who was he dating then? Was that a Alyssa Milano or someone? Wasn't he dating
No,
someone?
he was gosh. It was another celebrity. I forget who it was. I forget who it was.
Yeah, I do remember that too. He was dating a celebrity. Brad Penny, Chad Billy Maddox, the first go around.
Yep.
Russell Martin, Rafael Furcal, Nomar Garcia Parra, James Loney, Ramon Martinez, Andre Ethier, Matt Kemp, Jason Smith, David Wells, and a kid who I always really liked, and he just always had arm problems, but he was dominant a couple years, was Hung Chi Kuo.
Hmm.
Remember him, the lefty?
I do.
But yeah, I mean that's a group of names there. Some really good ball players, some Hall of Famers. I mean, obviously Fred McGriff didn't go in as a Dodger. Gary Sheffield wouldn't go in as a Dodger. Jim Thome didn't go in as a Dodger. Maddox did, but we had these guys probably, obviously past their prime. Um, but they're cool baseball cards to have, that's for sure.
That's amen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of there's a lot of interesting names that people don't realize. The Dodgers had a
Was dating.
history.
Drop a comment on it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of history in the 90s and early 2000s of the Dodgers grabbing people that either were before their prime and then went someplace and got to their prime, or were after the prime. Remember, Ricky Henderson played for the Dodgers, way past his prime. Andrew Jones, again, way past his prime. And for us Dodger fans, and Mikey, don't get me wrong. I mean, Andrew Jones started for us in '08. Remember, '04, we had that cup of coffee in the playoffs. '05, we came in fourth place. '06, we tied and got the wild card. '07, we came in fourth place at 82 and 80. And now we're looking and going, man, we got Andrew Jones. This guy, you put him in there with Kemp and Jeff Kent.
Smith pitching, but he didn't pan out because of injuries. I mean, the Dodgers, again, even that regime tried to bring, no signs of, and Jason Schmidt was a complete disaster because, of his shoulder. So it wasn't like the Dodgers weren't trying or their front office wasn't trying. It just didn't pan out.
No, it just didn't pan out. And it wasn't, again, like you said, it wasn't for lack of trying. It was for lack of just not working out. So,
Right.
oh my gosh, man, you're driving me down memory lane here because I, and we'll kind of get into this in a little bit, but Manny Wood is coming up here in our next episode. There's a lot of things that happen with the Dodgers. Then for you Dodger fans that are 10 or 12 years into it and you're used to seeing all this success, there's a lot of lean years, let me tell you. A lot of lean years. And it wasn't, I mean, remember, in the last 6 seasons, the Dodgers have been to the World Series 3 times. 3 times in 6 seasons. You can make an argument that we got cheated out of one. We got beat to sin
A very
in
good
one.
argument.
Yeah, we got beat to sin in one of them, and then we won one of them. Right? I mean, don't get me wrong, Mikey. The Red Sox just outplayed us. Let's just call a spade a
Yeah.
spade in 18. I mean, they just out.
Right.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No,
I
the
mean,
Red Sox were better.
yeah, they were. That I want to say in the first inning of the very first game in 18, when they were in Fenway, I saw a base hit between first and second, and I thought, uh-oh. Like we went like 1, 2, 3, I think, in the bottom of or the top of the first. And I thought, uh-oh, we're gonna get manhandled in this series. This isn't gonna be awesome. So,
And
but
what happened? We got manhandled.
and we got manhandled. Yeah, yeah. By a guy who took had
Um,
a set.
the, I don't want people to get those names I rattled off either. I did leave off some good Dodger names, some guys who played for the Dodgers for quite a few years. That, they were good players. They weren't, the more colorful names that I put on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of good Dodger players that gave us a lot. But Mikey just rattled off 20 or so of them. I mean, keep in mind, back then you had the 40-man roster, right? And you had 40-man call-up. So you have to think that for 10 seasons, at least at least 400 players played for the Dodgers in the
In
MLB, or at
September,
least,
you couldn't even move around the dugout because they had so many.
yeah,
They would bring up all their guys,
September
as many.
call-ups. Yep.
Yeah. I think that is obviously too many, but I think only let time, because some of these guys, it will be their only chance ever to make it to the majors, and get a little cup of coffee like that. And some of those guys will never see the major leagues now.
Well, and we had players like Blake DeWitt who we had very high hopes for. And it just didn't pan out. It just didn't pan out. And that happens. It's baseball. It's what you and I do for a living, Mikey, is not physical, it's mental. right? What these guys do is very physical. 162 games, plus you got spring training, plus you got spring training games. It's about 185, 190 games a year where you're running, you're lifting weights, you're eating, certain food. Like it's not like you and I where we're gonna break, bread and go get some nachos and a couple of Mountain Dews. Um,
Mhm.
it's give me the fruit, baby. Give me the vegetables, right? So we got the 2011 through present coming up. But before we wrap, what do we've had quite a few hits on these episodes. Is there anything else that you want to say to those that are listening to this episode that talking about the Dodgers?
No, just know that we are in the I don't know what the actual word, we're in a phenomenal it's a phenomenal time to be a Dodger fan as far as winning the National League West 10 out of the last 11 years. And the year we didn't, we won 106 games. I mean, this is Valhalla for Dodgers right now. We are in the zone, I mean, all they do sadly it's been in the regular season is win. And then obviously anytime you get in the playoffs, it's a crapshoot. But this last season is the first one where I was really like, there's something, yeah, ouch. This sucks. The other ones, you sometimes you just get beat, but to be manhandled like that by the Diamondbacks, that one hurt. It hurt. So
It did, but for me, Mikey, it you and I both realized that that was a blessing. We didn't expect to win 100 games during the regular season. We didn't
no.
expect to be where we were at. And to have such, I mean, I was waiting for the Dodgers to call me up to ask me when the last time was that I pitched competitively because we had no pitching going into that thing. So now, did I expect to get
Mm-mm,
swept? Did I expect to see Mookie and Freddie go 1 for 21? I didn't, but
mm-mm.
I'll take it for right now. I mean, it's better than being a Giants fan.
It wasn't, it wasn't even the 1 for 21 by those two. It was obviously a Clayton Kershaw that was not healthy, but with what we had, basically probably said, hey, I'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. I know we're
Mhm.
shorthanded. So, I mean, but that game, we lost that game in the first inning. It was 6-0 before we even got to bat in the bottom of the first. I mean, it
Yeah,
was basically over. Um, Second game was at the Bobby Miller game.
yeah.
Uh, Pretty much we were out of that one early too. He just couldn't throw strikes, couldn't pound the zone. And every game we were down before, I think we was just an uphill battle from the get go. And I think at this point with Mookie, Freddie now, and some of the guys that have been there for quite a few years, that we as fans put so much pressure on them, and then I can only imagine what kind of pressure they're putting on themselves because they're tired of it too. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
um, so we have to be more vigilant to say how what we feel on social media that they might see because they're already putting enough pressure on themselves. They don't need us to.
No, they don't need us to give more pressure, but we definitely have a scenario where we definitely have a scenario where there needs to be a little bit more expected, but in the right ways, right? And accept the fact that we're going to win some and lose some.
Yeah.
But we got to get back to the big dance, right? We've
So
got
what
to.
I what led into this, what you asked me was, you know, how do we have it now? You asked me compared to these days. I mean, We're looking from the last 10 years that we've been on this run, probably for the next 10, you know, we should be putting ourselves in a chance to win a World Series, you know, a couple times, God willing. I'm saying for the next 5 years, you could pick any year and they would be a favorite.
Right.
It's just now you have to get there. You know,
Right.
the ownership group has given us, as fans, as fans, there's nothing you can say about this ownership group as far as not wanting to win. I mean, they want to win.
Agreed. Agreed.
You know, the main gripe I hear is obviously Dave Roberts, and I don't think that guy's done anything to deserve to be fired at all.
No,
If anything, he's on a Hall of Fame managerial track.
well, when you know, the beloved Tommy Lasorda, and I'm not speaking ill of him, but remember, he went to 4 World Series over an 11-year span, right? He won 2 of them. He had some very lean years too, record-wise. Dave Roberts has had a winning record his entire managerial career with the Dodgers. In addition to that, he's been to 3 World Series in 6 years and won one of them. So
Yeah.
if he goes to the World Series this year and wins it, that's 2 World Series in 7 years. That's better than Tommy Lasorda, and he has a winning record every season.
Yes. Funny story about Dave Roberts, who he does not, he only has one losing season as a manager.
Okay.
He was 0-1 with the Padres the year before that as manager of the Padres.
Dun, dun.
Yeah.
I love
So
it.
that's it. Other than that, he's finished first. How many times has he won the division?
Yeah.
6 or 7, 5 or 6, and
5 or
came in
6.
second in the other. I mean,
Yeah.
geez, come on.
Well, and he came in second, the under or the other, winning 106 games. The Giants just happened to win 107. So if you win 106 games and you come in second place,
Yes.
that's not your bad. There's that is not your bad.
And
When you
we did
it
get knocked out of the playoffs that. Yeah, we did get knocked out of the playoffs that year, but we avenged at least the second place to the Giants by knocking them out of the playoffs.
correct. But if you go 106 and 56, nobody's complaining.
No.
Even if you come in second place, you're getting a wild card spot. I
The
want to
thing
see
about yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I want to see the season where somebody goes 106 and 56 and misses the playoffs. When I see that, something's wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
So what were you saying? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I lost it.
Oh,
It'll
there you
come
go.
back in a second, but it didn't probably have much of a bearing on anything.
Well, top fans, this is what we do for you, man. We throw you everything we can in the kitchen sink with Bleeding Blue. So, Mikey, I love this stuff, man. Can we just keep doing this every week? Isn't this fun?
Yeah, yeah. I did think of what I was gonna say. I
Okay,
was
go for it.
that basically that to me,
Mhm,
being where I live in Northern California, that Dodgers Giants series was my World Series.
mhm,
Because first off,
mhm,
I didn't have to hear it from all of them.
mhm.
Um, you know, but I think either team, it happened to be us who won. But Atlanta was going to beat either of us because those games that the Dodgers and Giants played, they kicked the crap out of each other, so they were
Good.
beat.
Yeah, no, agreed. Agreed. Well, Mikey, let's do this again next week, yeah?
Yep.
All right. Top Fan Rivalry followers, we gave you the 2000s, the 2000s through 2010s. We reminded you of some good players. We're going to do it again next week. Now, just remember, for those of you listening to this on YouTube, this is the last episode that you're going to see of Mikey and I on YouTube. Okay, that's it. We're done. From now on, you got to go to topfanrivalry.com. You got to sign up for the locker room, and you have to put in the code Bleeding Blue, all capital letters, or Bleeds Blue. I'm sorry. You put Bleeds Blue in, it'll get you a 10% discount on the locker room. Life will be good. You can continue to watch these. If not, hope you enjoyed the 5 episodes, and we'll catch you next year when they're free. Mikey, have
See
a good
this
one.
fade.
You, I'll see you. I'll see you
All right,
soon.
buddy. Thank you. You too.
Okay.
All right. Bye bye.